Racing family and our fans are special, and I just want to tell you they really have meant a lot to me, Melissa, Jackson Miller, Jason Taylor, Coy, our entire family. And so I say a big thanks to all of them. It's been an emotional year for us. For me, it started with the Daytona 500. I think anybody that saw that would probably say there's no way that could happen by accident. I felt like God was kind of overseeing that. I think JD was there. And then it kind of continued the entire year for me. It's been emotional to think that you could win the number of races we won. It's just something that normally doesn't happen. I think he was a big part of it for us. I think everybody that worked at Joe Gibbs Racing, when JD left us, I think each and every one of them felt that so much. I think they devoted this year to him and kind of everything I know Coy and all of us did family-wise. And so I just want to say a thanks to everybody. You asked me, it was emotional all year. I felt like I could feel JD all year. And it's kind of hard to put in words, but it's been special and different, and it was great to finish it up the way we did tonight.
For you, knowing that you had three of your guys in it all night and knowing what JD did, not just for Denny's team, obviously, but for the entire organization, would the emotions have been any different, regardless of which one of the three of them, if any one of the three of them had won it?
I think you never know exactly, how things will play out. I know our preparation going in for all three cars was we went after it with everything we had. The crew chiefs, the drivers, everybody. It's so big for each person, for Martin and Cole and, for Bass Pro, and auto owners, and then you go with Denny and FedEx. There's so much to that, and Chris over there. I think everybody went after this as hard as we could. And you don't know what's going to happen. Who knew that we were going to have the things that happened during the race? But we're certainly thrilled for Kyle, for Mars, for Interstate Batteries, and for Toyota. It's a huge deal for us.
In a roundabout way, he was asking you who was your favorite.
Oh, here's my favorite.
Pleads the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
And as you'll notice, we've been joined by two-time Monster Energy Series champion Kyle Busch. We'll go to Zach, and then Christian, and then Lee.
Zach Tanzaretti, kickingties.net for Joe. Who was really the initial push to get Kyle a part of Joe Gibbs Racing, either between you or JD? I know Kyle mentioned that on NBC that he never asked you.
I think it was our entire organization, and we got a management group there that's been together for 20 years, and everybody kind of prayed about it and thought about it. We interviewed Kyle. Weren't sure we could talk him into coming our way, but I think everybody worked together on it, and certainly JD and Coy were a part of that, and our entire management group.
I must have somehow passed the interview.
You did. I could tell you a few things about that interview.
We'll save it for our retirement tour.
Yeah, let's don't divulge that.
Christian Coley, FrontStretch.com over here. First off, congratulations to y'all on the championship victory. This question's for Kyle and Adam. Ryan Blaney spoke about it last week at Phoenix that stage points seem to be the pusher to put all these people, all the drivers in the Championship4. Tonight you won the second and the final stage. How did you feel like winning all the stages that you did during the regular season and during the playoffs help you tonight excel?
Like I said earlier, the only thing we know for sure when the season starts is that one of us at least is going to get in on points, and you're a fool if you're not put yourself in position to be that guy. And as a team, our goal is to win the championship. Our goal next year is to win the championship, and we damn sure want to be the guy that has the most stage points and wins the regular season championship, so we have the most points in case we don't win one of those three races, that we're that guy. I think what you saw by the four cars that made it being the highest guys in stage points, well, three of them won a race, right? That's just by virtue of they're the 4 best cars that make it. And that's the cool thing about this system now is it rewards the guys that run the best all year. And that's why we were all nose to tail majority of the race, is because there was the 4 best teams competing for the championship.
Going to go to Lee, Jeff, and then Brian.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. It's been longer than 10 minutes. Kyle, are you enjoying this yet?
Yet or still? Yeah, no, it's good. It's it's I don't even know quite yet to put it all into perspective or all into words, but it certainly is an amazing opportunity, and it's pretty special. You know, just with everything that Joe had talked about and had mentioned from the start of the season and losing JD and all that sort of stuff, but then to have the beginning part of the season that we had, and then to kind of lose whatever we lost through the last third, but to save the best for last and to come into here and score the win and score the championship is what it's all about. So can't thank this guy next to me enough with Adam and the team that he has has assembled, as well as the way that he leads and expects the best out of all of us.
And for Adam, after watching what happened to your competitors tonight and having won this championship before, does the winning team have to be flawless? I mean, does it have to just be sheer perfection? Because Truex came back, but I mean, the kind of track position he gave up was extreme.
Yeah, I think so. You know, like I said just a minute ago, you're going to have the 4 best teams here, barring some unusual circumstance. And to beat the 4 best teams, you have to be at your absolute best. And you can't play it too safe in trying to avoid mistakes that you're outside of the maximum performance in any single area. You know, it took the pit crew doing they had the world record day on pit road tonight, even with adjustments. And it took the car being close, and we had to know that it was going to come to us when the sun went down, and it did. And it took Kyle on the track getting all he could get and not touching the fence and not making a mistake and not giving up too many spots on the restarts when it wasn't perfect. And, getting all he could get on pit road. You know, we can't just be 10 miles an hour under pit road speed, and that's not going to work. You know, you have to operate at the very, very high level, and you have to eliminate the mistakes. And it's a big stage. It's a game 7 moment, as I mentioned earlier, and you have to be at your best when it matters the most.
Go to Jeff, Brian, and then Jerry.
Jeff Gluck from The Athletic. Kyle, my question is sort of following up on Lee's, because, you came over the radio and it was so sort of like subdued. You're just like, awesome, guys, we did it. And, it's sort of, you weren't going crazy. You're not jumping up and down. You're not. So what is it shock, or you're stunned or something that this actually fell your way? Like, what did you experience that made you react that way, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. Just, I'm not exactly sure. I kind of probably don't remember much of it already, but I do remember taking the white flag and crossing underneath that, and just I had some tears rolling down my eyes for the last lap, and was just like, come on, man, we still got to finish this damn thing. Don't be such a sis. But how was my last lap time? I don't even know.
I quit looking about 10 to go.
Okay, so hopefully it was decent. I don't know. We had a good lead to the guys behind us, but overall, just emotions were starting to set in. I just probably didn't know where the hell my mind was at, but knew we had won, and we had won big, and was just kind of being a bit more subdued about it.
Did you do your vow?
I did not.
Why not?
There wasn't any room. Did you see the crowd out there? There was people everywhere. So, I mean, in that moment, you kind of forget. You even forget you win the race. As I was doing the victory celebration, doing the lap around with Brexton, that was really awesome, by the way. I was coming into victory lane, and they were there with the checker flag, and I was like, oh, yeah. You forget, and you win the race, so it's just that crazy. And I forgot to do a bow. It's all good. I think Rowdy Nation will forgive me.
Go to the far right to Brian, then Jerry, then Greg.
Brian Mapes of Xfinity Racing. Back in 2015, as the laps were clicking down, you were singing a song in your head from Brexton's playlist, I guess. was there a song you were singing in your head this year now that Brexton's 4 years older? Maybe something from Frozen?
It was ROFLMAO. I'm in Miami. Yeah, that one. No, actually I wasn't. I was just focused on hitting my marks. Like every once in a while I'd throw it off into one and it would slip and I'd be like, oh, so, with racing around the lap cars and stuff like that. And I think it was like the last, who did I pass? Johnson, maybe. He cut me a lot of slack. Brad also cut me a lot of slack. I slid up in front of him because I just lost the front end of the race car being in traffic with him. And then they cut me some slack on the exits, and then you get off into the next corner, and it's just like, then it turns again, and you're like, damn, this thing is all over the place. So just trying to be focused on the lines and where the grip was at and where our car was running the best and just doing the right job.
Go to Jerry, Greg, and then Dustin.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. So Lee asked one of the questions I was going to ask, so I'll give my backup. How do you celebrate a second championship differently than you celebrate your first?
Well, we don't get to go to my hometown of Vegas this time around, so we go to Nashville. So there's going to be some differences in Nashville, that's for sure. So hopefully somebody's got a hell of a plan, or they're orchestrating one at the moment. But found a few friends this year in the country music biz, so maybe we'll give them a call and see if they can't come on out, and we could have a hell of a party and put on a good show. You're buying, right? Vegas was good. Vegas was really good. With the talent pool, with the banquet being so close to the race weekend, your talent pool of people that are available is kind of limited. So we'll have to see who's limited. I don't know. I'll make some calls.
Greg Engel Auto Week, congratulations. I was watching, I think, the moments that you were celebrating as a dad, taking your son in that ride. He's going to remember that for as long as he lives. Talk about the emotions of that and being able to provide those memories for your son. And also on another note, have you thought of boat names yet?
So Brexton actually came to me. I don't know if he got the idea from somebody else or if he just remembered it from Keelan doing it with Kevin, and said, "Dad, can I go for the ride with you?" And I was like, "Oh hell, like I'm good with it." So we asked the NASCAR guys, and they radioed up to the tower, and we got approval to be able to do that. So that was really, really special for Brexton, for me and Brexton, to be able to take in that moment and go for a ride around the track. And at first he was sitting down on the floorboard, and I was like, "You can't see anything, man." So I was like, stand up a little bit. So he then was kneeling and holding onto the roll bar and stuff, and that was really, really cool. Got him a chance to go around, and I was smiling the whole damn time and looking over at him and making sure that he was having fun, enjoying in that moment. And we were waving at the camera that was in there and stuff. So it was a lot of fun, and thankful for that. Boat names? Yeah.
You're going to give that to Adam, aren't you?
That's what I told him. I told him that he's supposed to have this one because I sold the first one. Shh, don't say that. Boat names.
I've always found it's better to have a friend with a boat than actually be the guy with the boat.
Yeah. I've heard that too. Yeah, there's the 3 Fs that you don't ever want to own. I guess the first name that came to my mind should have been 18. Right? I won the championship in 19. Should have been 18. Okay. Glad that worked well.
We'll go to Dustin, Kelly, and then Jacob.
Yeah.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I want to ask you a couple things. Kyle, just because you referenced that, I know you've talked about just not being able to perform as well here last year, and for an athlete to only get so many opportunities at this, what was the wait like, or all the things that took place in the 365 days since, because you just don't get these opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for us and our group, we get these opportunities every year, 5 in a row. But I think it's what Adam said best is earlier, that we we prepare as hard as we can prepare and do everything that we know how to do and be ready for this moment. And sometimes you just kind of miss it somewhere, some way, somehow. And other times you're like we were in 15 or this year. Carl was in 16. We were in 17. It just didn't come to us, you know. But overall, we've been pretty stout here with fast race cars, and so I thank Adam for that. And you know, you come in here and when we first unloaded off the truck, I was really loose, kind of like we were here last year on entry especially, and I was like, oh hell, here we go. And then we worked on it. Adam did some really good adjustments to it early on in practice to get us to the tight side, and where I was really, really good at being able to rip it off the wall and had good rear security, and I was like, okay, now we're tight, but we found both sides of it, so at least we're not stuck with what we had like we did last year. So that was the defining moment for me of knowing that we had something for them, and we just had to go do our jobs and race it out.
And I'm also curious, as an athlete, you have performed so well, and obviously a lot of people feel that, you know, you're the most talented driver and laud you for your success, and obviously worthy so. But when you come into an event like this and you start to view you as an underdog as opposed to how great you are or how great you can be, I'm curious what that is like for an athlete, because whether you want to tune that out or not, I'm sure it's there, and you can't necessarily ignore it. I'm just kind of wondering how you deal with it, channel it. Is it help, hurt, or how you are able to flush it away?
Yeah, I try to tune a lot of things out. You know, when I come to the racetracks, you know, people look at me certain ways that Brad probably said it best, that I'm an ASS, right? But that's just because I try to focus on what I got to do. And this guy here, and then the 15, this guy here also, but the 15 or 16 guys on my team are the most important people to me Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I know what work and everything that I do to prepare throughout the year, throughout the weeks, throughout the year, that gets us to these opportunities. And, you know, I just try to focus on my group and who I am around those guys, and they know about my focus and my determination and my work that gets us to these situations. And so, you know, not a lot of people outside my circle understand exactly who I am, because I just try to flush it out.
Go to Kelly, Jacob, and then Bob.
Any more for these guys? You want to do that?
We can do that. Any more for Coach or Adam? All right, well, gentlemen, congratulations. You've been freed.
You got it, man.
Yeah, man. I know how you work.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Kyle, you've mentioned it before. You mentioned it a little earlier. You've talked about Adam, how important he's been. But in 5 years, the numbers are just incredible. 27 wins, now 2 championships that he's helped guide you to. Could you have comprehended when the decision was made to change crew chiefs that in a 5-year span he would be this influential on your career?
Probably not. Obviously, anytime you make a change like that, you hope for better. You hope for more success and whatever. But certainly, I do wish that I would have had more success with prior leadership. You know, I feel like I missed out in 18 with Addington for sure. I feel like I think it was 13 with Dave. That coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, so would things have been different if I would have won with either one of those guys? You know, I'm not sure, but things work out the way they do for whatever reason sometimes, and you just got to live in the moment. And when Adam was slated to come on over and be my crew chief, I was not apprehensive about it, but you know, him and I had worked together on the Xfinity side and grown a relationship for a couple of years, and we had success over there. And sometimes that success works, and sometimes it doesn't. You just never know. But obviously, I'm very fortunate and thankful for Coach and making that decision and putting us together and having us to have the success we've had has been really, really good. Could it have been better? Sure. Could it have been worse? Probably. But it's good right now.
Go to the far left to Jacob and then Bob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Kyle, to follow a little bit on what I asked Joe earlier, and you started to tell the story, but Talk a little bit about JD and the impact he had definitely during the early part of your career, because I know that's one of the big things. We heard about it from Denny throughout this, but maybe not as much from your perspective.
Yeah, look, JD is he's an honorable man and honorable father and one that respects the Lord and had lived that way and showed people how to do that. And a lot could be learned from those type of individuals, and I think that comes from Joe, but also JD and who he was and the relationship with Melissa and the kids and being around the kids. I've been with them now 12 years, so some of them, man, they were 6. I think Jackson was 6 or 7 when I came over. And there were times, it's funny, there were times when we were at the races and Jackson was there and he would come on the pit box and sit on Samantha's lap. Like, that's probably a little weird now, but back then it was cute. So it's just the relationship, though, with the family has been really, really cool. JD was, it's funny, I've said this before, I'm not sure I've ever really been yelled at, but I have been sternly talked to. And JD was the same way. But in the early years and coming over to Joe Gibbs Racing, JD and I knew each other a little bit from Truck Series stuff. Coy and I knew each other better because Coy was there when I was there. And so I've always respected the family and have given them everything that I've got and have appreciated what they've given me.
Go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. Did you know you had a 10-second lead after Harvick pitted? And if so, what's going through your head if you have a 10-second lead?
I knew I had a 9.7-second lead, I think they were telling me over the radio. So yeah, call it 10 if you will. And I was just trying to keep it somewhere around there. I was hoping that my car was fast enough. The way that it felt, it started to kind of feel a little different towards the end of the race and just didn't quite, especially the end of runs. Like in the beginning of the runs, car felt great. Like when we put tires on that thing, I was like, oh, hell yeah, we're fast. You know, and was just hoping that others weren't faster and that they weren't just running me down for some crazy reason. So I knew the 19 had speed all night. And obviously they showed that. They came from the farthest back probably there at the end to run runner-up. But you know, I was just trying to continue to hit my marks and do the things that I've been doing all night long and not necessarily keep the gap big, but just underdrive the tire all the time to make sure that nothing crazy or stupid would happen.
Do we have any final questions for the champ?
The caution, yeah, I mean, that always crosses through your mind. So, like, as the run was going, I kept thinking in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's 5 laps in, that's 10 laps in. How's my car feeling? How's it driving? Because as soon as that caution would have flown, I would have been right on the radio talking to Adam, like, okay, this is what I need because I need to be better on fire off here, whatever, in determining how many laps were left and what the restart was going to be. So I was constantly thinking and being ready.
Going to go back to Jeff and Dustin.
I mean, along that same lines, it's just like, it feels like this sort of doesn't normally happen to you. Like, when you have a stretch where you're not winning or something, it's not like stuff falls into your lap, where if you have a dominant season or a dominant stretch, things might get taken away from you, and you're like, oh man, I had a good playoffs, and something happened and we didn't win. But to be sort of just so-so by your own standards and not win the whole playoffs, and then you win the championship, like, does that feel weird to you, or does that surprise you?
When was media day? Thursday. I think one of my lines was, "It's not what have you done for me lately. It's what can you do for me now." Right. So I think that that's true in itself. With all these guys that were fast, Denny being fast, I knew Denny was going to be good here. He's been good here. He's won here in 13. He was fast here a couple of years ago, I think, too. And Truex is always fast, always a force to be reckoned with, and same with Harvick, you know. But we knew the 4 was going to come here with their stuff that they've been fast with all year long, and we just didn't think that was going to end up being the ticket on the long runs. The short run, for sure, he was fast on the short run, right? And so again, to Bob's question, you know, was if a caution come out and Harvick and myself come off pit road 1 and 2 with 10 laps to go. it was going to be damn hard to win. So yeah, you're right. It worked our way. It was long runs to the end. It was 50-something laps on both the last set of tires, and so that played right to us and how good we were.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Did you get to throw Brexton eventually?
Damn it! No, I didn't do that either. Everybody's like, do this, do this, do this, do that. So, anyways, we're gonna go do. We got more photos and stuff to take, so we'll do it. I got an idea already. Thanks.
What is a moment like that for a dad to do that with a son in a situation like that? That's something most people are never going to experience.
It's really cool. I was actually, when we were on the first stage, I was thinking about doing it there, and I was like, it's kind of small. There's a few people up here. No, I don't want to do it here. And then when we were on the next stage, we kind of got ushered out of there pretty quick, so I didn't think of it. But I asked him if he wanted to sit in the trophy for the photos, and he was like, Dad, I'm too big for that. So I was like, okay, let him do what he wants to do. It's fine. Huh? No, when we were out on the racetrack, right when I got out of the car, he was like, Dad, does this mean you can throw me because you won the race? So I was like, yep, that's right, we will. So anyways, what'd you say? What's your question? You good?
Yeah, no, I was just asking if you got just the opportunity to follow, do that with his son.
Yeah, so yeah, just having him here and having him 4.5 now, and I hope that, I can't remember my memories of how old I was when I started remembering things. I was never mind. So I hope that he can remember these moments. And obviously, TV's really good these days. There's a lot of great HD coverage, and so it's pretty clear the opportunities of him being on television and being him in the car with me and that sort of stuff is special.
I'm going to go to Jordan, Mike, and then Aaron.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Were you informed of what happened to Martin Truex Jr. on pit road? And if so, what was your reaction?
I was not, no. I found out on the stage afterwards. Did they put the lefts on the rights or something? On the front? Yeah, I heard that on the stage, and I was like, man, it's crazy. Just how things can happen sometimes, I mean, it's just an honest mistake, I'm sure. And so I didn't know that's why he had to come back. I just figured it was a loose wheel. I mean, same thing, right? If it was a loose wheel, he had to do the same thing. So I just figured it was a loose wheel. But when he marched back through the field, I was like, damn, he's fast. And then, for him to come out second of having that happen to those guys, it was, they were quick. I'm sure they're going to look at this as one that got away.
Mike Massey with Front Stretch. So after Martinsville, Eric Almirola said he was going to make the last 3 weeks hell for you. Unless he has a strange idea what hell is, I don't think he did that. So I'm just wondering, did you patch things up with him prior to the last couple of weeks?
I did not. No, I didn't reach out to him or anything. I just thought that it was a Martinsville thing. I spent time and laps of working him over and trying to get by him cleanly, and I did that. And then first time he got back to me on the next run, he just ran over me, and I crowded him, and we got together. So that's Martinsville. That stuff happens. But there was a couple moments where I figured he would maybe try something or whatever. But Texas, we saw each other for like 5 laps, and then I never saw him again because he drove away. And then Phoenix, I don't remember. I think we were around him a couple times, and I don't remember what was happening. And then tonight, I had to put him a lap down there towards the end of the race, and he was fine. And I think that's respect, for one, because even other guys that I had issues with, Bubba waved me by, Stenhouse waved me by, like these guys, that you would think are gonna make your life hell, whatever. In the championship race, in that moment, they know what that means, and I would do the same. Larson was probably my biggest pain in the neck tonight, but I had fun racing with him. I thought that was pretty cool. This place is really racy. It's a great place to do that. Myself and Harvick had a lot of fun as well too. That was, I'm sure you know what I thought about in that moment too? It was funny. Was it 2010 where he flat out wrecked me on the front stretch and was like, that kid was running all over like a clown all day or whatever. Yeah. So I thought about that. I was like, looks a little eerie, doesn't it, buddy? But times are different, and things are different between he and I. So it was pretty cool. I had a smile on my face once I marched away.
Aaron Bearden, Motorsports Beat. Kyle, this is your second championship, first two-time champion we've had since Jimmy and Tony, and it pushes you past guys like your brother Kurt and Brad and Matt Kenseth. So does that hold any significance to you, especially in the position you're in, win-wise, where you're already kind of among them? Does that second title hold any extra weight for you?
I guess. I would like to think that anytime you're able to win more races and more championships, that it helps your stature and helps you become, I don't know what it helps you become, I guess, more successful. But, it's all about just doing our job to me. I would love to be sitting here right now talking about 8. I've been in the sport for 14, 15 years, whatever this season is for me. And so, we're only talking about 2. So it's nice to have the success that we have. Take it when you get it. But there's certainly a few missed opportunities for sure.
Go to Jenna.
Kyle, what do you make of JGR winning 19 of 36 races in a year with a new rules package and all the other things that were thrown at you? How does one organization set the record for wins?
Hell yeah. Good for us. Great for us. Everybody, Joe is a phenomenal leader. I think Joe said it too. I'm not so sure that everybody just didn't dig in as hard as they could. And, when it's 4 o'clock and it's time to go home, they don't leave until 4:20, or 4:30 or whatever it might be. So I think that I think it's the group of drivers as well too, though. When we had our team meetings with myself and Kenseth and Carl and Denny, they knew the group of drivers that we had, and if we weren't successful, they knew it was because the stuff that we're driving around the racetrack. And so I think the same is to be said for the Kyle, the Denny, and the Martin, and Jones too. Because the better you make the stuff for us 3, the better it's going to make Jones as well too. And I think that we just all have really good communication, and the way that we all share. And I don't know how everything went this morning, with last adjustments and whatever, if all that was shared or not. But we had our team meetings the same as we had all year long this weekend.
I think Jenna had a follow-up.
What do you think it means to Joe? You guys opened the season 1, 2, 3 at Daytona, and you closed the season 1, 2, 3 at Homestead. I mean, it seems.
Did we finish 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, Jones was 3rd. Yeah.
Oh, Jones was 3rd. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
So I mean,
'cause I knew Denny just passed me to get his lap back at the end, so I didn't know where he was at.
I mean, that's pretty unusual,
Yeah.
So do you think that means something for Joe in this year that?
Well,
thinks
damn
that-
sure better. What else can we do for the guy? I mean, damn. But that shows. That man is relentless, and he is at the shop, whether it's 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, every single morning. He is there, and he works, and this is his life. This is what he does. Same as me, this is what he does, and I think that's why we respect each other so much, and we get along so well. And what we do is, if he's at home and in North Carolina, he's at the shop, and if he's got to go somewhere and get on an airplane and fly somewhere, it's for his race team or his family. There's certain times where it's for his family, of course, too, but that's just that's how a leader is, and everybody follows the leader that you have from the top.
Go to Michelle.
Michelle Martinelli, USA Today. How does the feeling of winning 2 championships compare to 1? Is it similarly satisfying, or more so, or less so?
This one feels like the first, like today, but like getting into next year, being 2-time is going to be cool. I'm certainly looking forward to that, and I'm just, again, I can say it over and over again, but it's just about the people that you're around and the people that you work with, and certainly everybody at Toyota and TRD and Joe Gibbs Racing and TRD, Costa Mesa, Salisbury, everybody that does everything for us, and whether it's David Wilson or Graves, they're in our team meetings as well too, and so it's important to all of us to be successful. And for me to have a second championship, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if Denny won his first or Martin won his second. It's the collective team in what we do and who we are.
Go to the far right to Davey.
Davey Siegel with Front Stretch. Kyle, Adam said that this year and tonight, kind of culminating with it, kind of reminded him of the 2015 season, minus the broken leg, of course.
Yeah.
Did it
I
remind
won a full-time championship. What do you know?
Did this
hey,
year?
So does anybody know what the score would be with the old Winston Cup points? I won the old way too. Thank you.
Did tonight remind you, and this year as a whole remind you any of 2015 at all, like Adam said?
Yeah, no, it did. It certainly reminded me. You know, we won, I think the Brickyard maybe was our last win, or something after that was our last win in 15, and then we won Homestead. And then this year, kind of the same thing, Pocono, and then all the way to Homestead. So looked awfully familiar. Man, it sucks when y'all want to talk about 21 race winless streaks. Damn, sorry, but well, it's 0 right now, and hopefully it's 0 again after we run the next race. That's all I gotta say, because that one's a big one that I have yet to get.
Go to Dan.
Dan Gelson, AP. Kyle, do you feel like this might boost your popularity? Did you get a sense?
I don't need to be any more popular. I don't. No.
Why?
But anyway. Oh, I am by far most popular. I'm just not going to win the award. What else you got?
That's pretty good. I'll
Okay.
on that.
All right.
Well, on that note, congratulations,
Oh,
Kyle.
cool. Right on. All right.
Enjoy your celebration.
Hey, Rowdy Nation, be sure to vote. There's still votes are open for most popular driver award, so we'll take all we can get. All right. Yeah, I heard that. So that's pretty cool. It's crazy though. He's 7.